Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We are in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm with Maggie today. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So for those of you who might be new to the podcast, Maggie and I are meeting for the first time. We're going to do a client session and see if we can do some good things together. So Maggie, if you could wave your magic wand and have whatever you wanted with food and body, what would that be for you?
Well, as far as food is concerned, I'd like to be not so obsessed with everything that I eat, the calorie count, if it's good, if it's bad. It seems like that's a 24-hour a day obsession for me. I always check labels. I'm always, should I eat this? Should I eat that? I just like to be more comfortable with my eating. And I would also like to lose 20 pounds. That's where I feel most comfortable.
Uh-huh. So how long have you been sort of tracking your food and concerned about calories and dieting and such?
Well, since I'm about 13 and I am now 68, so a very long time.
Okay. So you want to lose 20 pounds.
Yes. Hmm.
And what weight would that put you at?
It would put me at about 130 pounds.
Uh-huh. And when was the last time you were at roughly 130?
About 3 years ago, but about 6 years ago, I had bariatric surgery and I
Hmm.
lost about 54 pounds. And I did real well with it until about a year or so ago when I started putting the weight back on. And I'm just worried I'm going to just keep going and get back to my original heaviest. And I don't want to do that.
Got it. So why do you think after the bariatric surgery at some point the weight came back on? What would you attribute that to?
I really have no idea. Well, I was really restricting after the bariatric surgery. Um, Now I realize how restrictive I was. And then I just got to the point where I decided that I didn't want to be restrictive all the time. And I just started eating things that I wasn't eating, and the weight just came on.
Uh-huh. Before the bariatric surgery,
Hmm.
had you ever, in all those years of dieting, had you ever gotten to your target weight? Had you ever gotten to
Yes.
130?
Yeah. I would lose weight and then I'd gain weight and I'd lose, I mean, the whole yo-yo dieting thing.
Mm-hmm. So, did you ever have a point where you felt, okay, I feel good about myself. I feel good about my body when you did lose the weight? Like, how did you feel?
I felt wonderful. It was a
Mm-hmm.
good thing. Hmm.
And what was wonderful about it?
I just felt more confident. I felt that people took me more seriously. Um, I I just was happier in general. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I could wear the
So,
kind of clothes that I like, that type of thing.
so you could wear the kind of clothes you like. You felt more confident.
Hmm.
You felt people took you more seriously. And yeah, you just felt better about yourself.
Definitely. Hmm.
Okay. So remind me again, you said you were how old?
68.
68. Do you ever think to yourself how long you want to live for? Like, do you have a number in your mind?
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to be in my late 80s when I
Okay.
go.
So late 80s. So we're talking another 20 years
Yeah.
on planet Earth.
Yeah,
Are you married?
I am.
How long?
It'll be 35 years next week.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
How does your partner feel about your body?
He loves me unconditionally. He's
Hmm.
like the best guy ever.
Hmm. And when he sees you go through all your dieting, what advice does he give you?
Um, he really doesn't give me any advice. He supports me whether I'm dieting, whether I'm eating too much, whether I'm gaining weight. He really doesn't pass any judgment or give me advice.
Hmm. Do you have kids?
I do. I have three adult children and I have eight grandchildren.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I know they're wonderful.
Do they live near you?
Yep, I'm very fortunate. They do.
Oh, that's so great. So 68 years old, you want to live into at least your late 80s. So that's another 20 years. What do you imagine those 20 years are going to be for? Like what do you want to do with those 20 years?
Well, I worked in healthcare for 42 years. I was a CAT scan technologist and I retired in 2019. And then I went to culinary school because I had always wanted to do that. That was on my bucket list. I absolutely loved every minute of it. And I have a little home business where I teach cookie decorating, and that's really, really fulfilling for me. I love it, absolutely love it. So I can see myself continuing to do that, to have the classes and just enjoy my family. That's my main goal for the next 20 years. Enjoy
Got it.
watching them grow and, you know, being with them.
So you want to be there with your family, enjoy them, enjoy your love of the culinary universe. I love it.
Yeah.
So here you are,
Hmm.
and you've been dieting since age 13. You're 68, so that's 55 years.
Yes.
Do you ever think to yourself that you're tired of dieting?
I am so tired of dieting. I
Mm,
remember when I was younger telling myself that when I was 60, I was never going to diet again, but that didn't happen.
mhm. So here's what's interesting to me. 55 years is a long amount of time to be in the universe of worry about food, body, and weight.
Absolutely.
And I got to understand you want to weigh what you want to weigh. But your life, as you get older, as you know, life gets more precious.
Absolutely.
The time gets more precious,
Hmm.
and how you spend it gets more precious. That's why I was interested to hear what you want to do with your precious time.
Hmm.
And to me, the worry about food and weight and calories and what you're eating, there's a certain place where that's become a habit for you.
Yeah.
It's become very familiar. It's like it's like a second marriage.
Hmm. It's very comfortable.
Yes. And it's
Hmm.
familiar. And you
Yes.
know it. You know what you're going to think. You know how you're going to feel. You know, if you gain weight, you're going to feel bad. If you lose some weight, you're going to feel good. You weigh yourself, the number looks right. Everything's great.
Hmm.
And in a strange way, focusing on the food on our plate and the amount of food and the calories and the fat grams and all that sort of thing, it's like its own religion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's a way to structure our world.
Hmm.
So the good news is you have a choice in what your religion is.
Hmm. Yeah.
because because you're the one who's doing the worshiping. You're the one who's
Yeah.
doing the praying. You're the one who's putting
Hmm.
energy and attention onto certain rituals.
Yeah.
And I just want to offer straight up that why don't you go on a dieting vacation? But even more than a dieting vacation, go on a vacation from having to change your body so you can feel better about yourself.
Hmm.
When you say, well, when I lost the weight and I got down to 130, people take you more seriously. Who? Don't even answer that
Hmm.
question. Don't even
Okay.
answer that question. The people that love you, your husband
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, your children don't care.
Yeah. I know they don't.
Promise you, your grandchildren don't
Hmm.
care.
Nope.
If somebody truly wasn't taking you seriously because of your weight, they shouldn't be in your world.
Hmm.
I mean, think of how silly that is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say to your grandchild, I'm not going to respect you and I'm not going to take you seriously until all your baby fat is gone
No.
or until you lose weight. You wouldn't say that to your grandchildren,
No.
say that to your kids. But in a way, I could be wrong, but I think the person the people who don't take you seriously when you're supposedly not at your target weight, those people live in your head.
I I see that absolutely. Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. I really am.
Yeah. So you can change that.
Hmm.
I know you know that,
Yeah.
but I think personally that this is the time in your life to take that knowing and actually put it into action.
Hmm.
So to take that knowing, I know I'm my own worst enemy. I know that the things I say to my own self about my body or my weight, I would never say to my kids or my
Hmm.
grandkids.
Absolutely not.
So why would you say them to you?
Yeah. I find like I go on a downward spiral. Like I'll go past a mirror and I won't look like how I look. So I just get all these bad thoughts and then, oh, I have to not eat, tomorrow. I'll have to, stop doing what I'm doing. And I just go on this downward spiral.
Mhm. I believe I've been doing this work for 40 years now.
Hmm.
And what I've come to the conclusion, one of the things that I've come to the conclusion is that oftentimes our relationship with food and our relationship with our body and its weight can get kind of stuck at a certain age.
Hmm.
So if somebody starts dieting when they're 13,
Yeah.
then in a strange way, it's the 13-year-old me that's always dieting, even when I'm 30 or 40 or 50 or 60.
Yeah.
It's that little kid who somehow got the message, you're no good, you're not lovable, you're not
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
And unless I change my body, nobody's going to take me seriously.
Right.
Nobody's going to love me. Somehow you got that message. And,
Yeah.
and trust me, you're not the only person, you're not the only
Yeah.
woman who got that message. Like,
Hmm.
welcome to the club.
Yeah.
People get the message that your body is not good enough. You have to change it. It has to be
Hmm.
taller, shorter, thinner, more muscular, whatever it is. It's got to
Hmm.
change shape. And we get these notions in our head that come from the world.
Yeah.
They come from the world, but they land in us.
Hmm.
And it's our job to decommission them.
Hmm.
So all I'm trying to say is I'm asking you to consider that when you're looking in the mirror and you're not liking yourself, that's not 68-year-old Maggie, mother and grandmother and elder citizen and wise woman. That's not who's talking.
Hmm.
Who's talking in that moment is the little girl who wants to lose weight so people will love her and take her seriously.
Yeah.
The good news is you're not that little girl anymore.
By far.
She's still, but that little girl still tends to sit at the head of the table when you eat.
Hmm.
When you eat, when you think about food, it's that little girl worrying.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever heard me talk about the archetypes of the queen and the princess?
Yes.
Yeah. So quick refresher. So
Hmm.
archetypes, think of all the fairy tales that we've heard about the princess and the queen and the princess stage and princess is we often use that term pejoratively, but I'm not looking at it in a negative sense. Princess is the younger phase of a woman's life.
Hmm.
So there's a very early princess, there's a middle princess, there's a late princess, but in the princess stage, when a woman is young, when a female is young, she still doesn't know herself because she's young.
Right.
And in the princess stage, we want approval from the outside.
Hmm.
Tell me I'm okay.
Hmm.
Tell me I'm beautiful. Tell me you
Hmm.
love me. Look at me. Aren't
Hmm.
I wonderful?
Hmm.
We need approval from the outside because it helps
Yeah.
build us up. When the
Hmm.
big people around us tell us, you're wonderful, you're beautiful, you're
Right.
great, we love you just as you are.
Yeah. Yeah. When-
Now, when you don't,
in my family, I was the pretty one. my sister was the smart one. So I was always valued for the way that I looked. And
Hmm.
that became my persona.
Yes. Interesting. So you brought that persona into your later years,
Yeah.
and what's happening is the princess is still sitting at the head of the table.
Mhm.
And who should be sitting at the head of the table when you're 68 is the queen.
Yeah.
The queen is exactly as a sound. A good queen knows who she is.
Hmm.
She believes in herself. She's confident in herself. She understands that her value is in who she is and what she has to give to the world. Her value is not in how much body fat she has.
Hmm.
Her
Yeah.
value is not in not
Hmm.
having any wrinkles and being perfect and having
Hmm.
a perfect
Hmm.
body. Like that stage is over
Yeah.
with. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Hmm.
So, but if you're a woman of queen's age and you're letting the princess run the show, you will be miserable.
Yeah. And I have been. Hmm.
So the good news is you could self-initiate into queenhood anytime you want. It is
Hmm.
a literal self-initiation. It's a literal decision where you have it's to me, it's like a spiritual reckoning.
Hmm.
It's a spiritual act where you look in the mirror and you be with yourself and you say to yourself, I'm done.
Yeah.
I am done judging myself
Hmm.
around how I should look and what I should weigh. Because every moment you spend in worry is a moment where you're not fully available for the world and for the people
That's
that you
true.
love.
That's also true.
And it's a moment where you're not able to be in your glory and your
Yeah.
queenhood and your
Hmm.
grandmotherhood and your wise womanhood, but instead in your mind, you're trying to be the 16-year-old princess.
Hmm.
So I'm just raising my hand and saying this because, once you hit your 60s, we're on the other side of the
Yeah.
mountain.
Definitely. Hmm.
And
And
so,
I do want to be happy for what the time that I have left. I want to not be miserable all the time because of the way that I look. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
no, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it is an old habit.
Yeah.
And it is the kind of sort of viral belief that lives in the world. So it's
Yeah.
not yours personally. You didn't invent
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
But the good news is you can claim at any time, you can claim your dignity. And you can say, I will no longer tie my self worth to how much I weigh. So if it was me, I would love to see you get rid of your scale and never weigh yourself again.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
weigh yourself ever again.
It's not important.
It's not important. It's just so
Yeah.
you let a scale tell you how you feel. You're gonna let a
Right.
little
Right.
machine that has
Right.
no intelligence whatsoever.
Hmm.
You're gonna let
Hmm.
that machine report to you how you should feel that day. And you're gonna let a number, 130, determine your value as a person.
Yeah.
You wouldn't wish that on your grandchildren.
Absolutely not.
So why wish it on yourself?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's it's like undoing a curse.
And
It's
that's exactly what it is, a
it's
curse.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
curse.
Absolutely.
So it's undoing that curse. And the good news is you got a nice King Prince Charming who
I
loves you.
do. I do.
And nobody is looking for you to lose weight. Nobody that you know in your world is
Mhm.
making your weight conditional upon them loving you,
That's so true.
except for you. You're
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Hmm.
So what I would say is I would get rid of the scale
Hmm.
and start to live life as if this body right now, this is your body.
Hmm.
This is your body. Like this
Yeah.
body that you have right now, this is your body. And I would pretend for at least 3 or 4 months,
Hmm.
pretend this is the body I'm going to have for the rest of my life. How would I conduct myself?
Mm-hmm.
Who would I be? How would I show up? If you knew for certain that this is the body I'm going to have for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be lucky to have this body for the rest of your life.
This is true.
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
you're as young and healthy as you'll ever be.
That's very true.
So just really now's the time to live your life
Mm-hmm.
and let go of the tyranny,
Yeah.
a number that you've invented. So you decided, I feel better at this number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look around you. There's people of all kinds of shapes, weights, sizes, and heights feeling good about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
We invent a number and say, that's the number that's going to make me feel good. And then we chase after it. And
Yeah.
then we get it and we lose it. And then when we have it, we think we feel good, but it's a temporary high.
Definitely.
If getting to that number was truly the promised land, then every time you got there, you would have stayed
It
there and
stayed there. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's surrendering, it's giving it up. It's literally like, I surrender. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And begin to occupy the body that you have right now and appreciate the body you have right now. Because you've been trying to change your body since you were 13. You have
I
no
have.
idea what it's like to just go, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to change it.
Yeah.
And that's going to mean starting to trust yourself more and trust your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust that, you know something, you'll take care of yourself. You're not going to eat yourself into oblivion.
Right.
And if you overeat or you emotionally eat,
Mm-hmm.
you stand by yourself. You forgive yourself. You don't torture yourself.
Right.
It's the self-torture when we eat something that we think we shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
That's actually the problem.
I agree. I think that sometimes I restrict myself so much that and then I just say I can't do it anymore. And then I just go crazy on all the stuff that I think I can't have.
Exactly. So there's no time like the present to just literally draw a line in the sand. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really, it's just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's see, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. It's
Yeah.
the challenge is you're not allowing yourself to live in this body that you have and occupy it and love it and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
experience life without trying to change yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you woke up every day and the person you're sleeping with every day wakes up with you and says, honey, you need to change. You need to change your body. And if you don't change the body, I'm not going to love you.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps reminding you every day and every time you're hungry and every time you eat, honey, you better not eat that or you better watch what you eat because if you don't, then I'm not going to love you. That's torture.
And that would be absolute torture. And I would not stay with anyone like that.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we want to kick that voice out of
Mm-hmm.
your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes practice.
Yeah.
It's literally an ongoing practice because the old voice is still going to be there,
Yeah.
but you're slowly letting it go and you're inviting a newer voice to the head of the table. And that newer voice is Queen Grandma Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
She is the queen who has authority over herself, who loves herself,
Mm-hmm.
who sits on her throne and is not saying, am I okay? Does this dress look good enough? Do you
Yeah.
love me even though I think I have 10 pounds to lose? No, a good queen
Yeah.
doesn't say that. A good queen sets an example. I'm sitting in my power and I love me for who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, the people I love, for who you are.
Yeah.
So it's setting an example for your grandkids.
Yeah. I would love to be that type of example for them. Absolutely.
You have the power to do that. You really do.
Mhm.
And it's literally choosing a new path,
Mhm.
choosing to let go of dieting. And it's kind of like jumping off the ledge.
Yeah, it feels like it. Makes me
Yeah.
feel anxious thinking about it.
Yeah. It's jumping off a ledge, but if not now, then when? Because
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
can literally go to the grave with
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
And I know people, I've met people who do,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
sad to me.
Hmm.
It's sad because they were the only person torturing themselves. They were the
Yeah.
only person who
Yeah.
cared. Nobody else cared
Yeah. Hmm.
about them losing a single pound. And it's it's not fair to the rest of the world for you to diminish yourself
Yeah.
and make the best version of you less available to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're no longer doing it just for you, you're doing it for the people who you love
That's true.
and
Hmm.
that you want to be an example for. So,
And
when
that's
you're,
very important to me.
yeah, so when
Yeah.
you're looking to make these changes, you think to yourself, I'm doing
Hmm.
this for my grandkids. I want to
Yeah.
set a great example
Yeah.
as a mature woman who loves herself for who
Yeah.
she is,
Hmm. Yeah.
which means letting go of the princess dream. I'm going to have this body and I'm going to feel so good because I fit into the clothes that I want to fit into. Throw out those clothes.
Yeah.
If you know, throw them all out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Fit into the clothes that you fit into right now and
Yeah.
let those be your clothes.
Yeah.
And stop setting yourself up for disappointment.
I do because I look at the clothes and I don't fit into them anymore. And I say, oh man, I would love to be that weight again. I need to stop eating. And yeah, I'm going to get rid of them.
Get rid of them
Yeah.
and begin your journey of making friends with food.
Mm.
Making
Hmm.
friends with food, because guess what? The way God invented us, all creatures eat.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
eaters. If you don't eat, you die.
Yeah.
So God didn't invent food to torture us,
Hmm. Hmm.
didn't invent food to put body fat on us.
Hmm.
Food is what sustains us. Food is the manna from heaven.
Hmm.
Food is wonderful.
Yeah.
And you've been conditioned to believe that food is your enemy
Yeah.
and that you have to fight it.
Hmm. I
And
teach I
yeah.
teach cookie decorating classes. I make
Mhm.
really pretty cookies and everybody loves it. And my classes are always full. And I had never tasted one of my cookies that I made because I always felt like I couldn't eat it because it was a sweet and it would make me fat and I'd be out of control. And so I never tasted one of my cookies before. It's sad now that I think about it. Very sad.
Well, you can change that. That's the good
Okay.
news. That's the good news.
Hmm.
And, sitting in your queenhood means you're trusting yourself.
Mm.
Because when you say, like, well, if I eat the cookie, I'm just never going to stop.
Right.
That's the biggest fear. So that's our
Yeah.
big fear. I'm
Yeah.
never going to stop and I'm just going to balloon and I'm going to weigh hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
Right.
pounds.
Right.
So have you ever done that?
No. Well,
No.
no, I haven't. I mean, I've gained weight, but not like that.
Yeah,
No.
not
Yeah.
like that. So you
Yeah.
gained weight
Yeah.
and then you found yourself again.
Right.
And so all I'm saying is your worst nightmare has never come true.
Hmm.
And your strategy, the strategy you've been doing for 55 years just
Has
hasn't
not
worked.
worked.
It
No.
hasn't gotten you to any
Hmm.
promised land.
Hmm.
If something doesn't work after 55 years,
Yeah. Hmm.
literally we change it and we try something else. So
Yeah.
the something else here is to begin to make friends with food,
Yeah.
make friends with cookies
Hmm.
and eat the cookie,
Hmm.
enjoy it,
Yeah.
savor it,
Hmm.
celebrate it, because that's what you want to do anyway. You want
Right.
to eat the cookie.
Right. Right.
You love them, you're making
Yeah.
them, make other
Yeah.
people happy, they
Yeah.
make you happy to make them, they're going to make you happy to eat it.
Yeah.
And give yourself that pleasure. Because here's the thing, when we give ourselves a pleasure and
Mhm.
we fully embrace that pleasure and we experience that pleasure, we become satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I were more comfortable eating a cookie, I wouldn't eat as much. I wouldn't eat all of the cookies if I just enjoyed it and was comfortable.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Because if we keep making it bad, you shouldn't do this. It's
Right.
bad,
Right.
it's bad, it's bad, it's
Hmm.
bad. Eventually, you're gonna eat it and you're gonna be out of control because
Right.
you're being limited.
Right. Right.
And you almost have to grasp it and grab
Yes.
it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that grasping and that desperation comes from the fact that we're limiting ourselves in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're holding ourselves back and we're saying, no, 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 you can't experience pleasure. Well,
Hmm.
we're built for pleasure.
Yeah.
The reason why food tastes good on your tongue is we're designed that way.
Hmm.
Food is designed to be pleasurable. So many aspects of life are designed right into our physiology to be pleasurable.
Hmm.
So it's about you having a new relationship and learning at this ripe young age of 68, learning that you can trust your relationship with pleasure. Explore it.
Yeah.
Sure. You might eat the cookies and you might overeat them. But you know
Hmm.
what happens? You forgive yourself. You go, oh, next time
Yeah.
I want to take a deep breath. I want to
Right.
slow down.
Right.
I want to notice myself more
Hmm.
and give yourself the opportunity to be in relationship with food as opposed to be fighting it,
Yeah.
trying to resist it.
Hmm.
How's all this landing for you, Maggie?
It's incredible. It sounds great. I'm going to go throw out my scale as soon as we're done here. And I think if I keep on remembering that I'm setting an example for my children and that I need to be confident to do that, I think that would be extremely helpful. And I know sometimes, yeah, I will probably revert back to the old way, but if I stay present and I remember, then it won't be as bad,
Exactly.
and I'll get to enjoy what's less left of my life. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Donate the clothes that don't
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah.
If you happen to lose weight, then you buy new
Yeah. Then I
clothes.
buy new ones. Right. Right.
That's all.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
own this body that you have
Hmm.
and just begin to enjoy it and say, you know something? All things considered, this is not so bad.
Yeah.
And you can learn to love your body at this weight. You can learn to love your body no matter how old it is,
Yeah.
because it's the same way you love the people you love. You're just loving them unconditionally.
Yeah.
And you're not placing demands on how somebody's body should look or weigh in order for you to love them. So just the same for yourself. Give that to
Yeah.
yourself.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
I
you
know
could,
it's going to be difficult because I, for so long, it's a habit. Even the bad thoughts are a habit. I just
yes,
revert right back to the bad thoughts. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's literally learning
Yeah.
this ripe young age. It's learning because we're always learning
Hmm.
how to begin to harness your mind and your thoughts. So as
Yeah.
soon as those thoughts start to come in, as soon as those negative thoughts start to come in,
Hmm.
I'm going to suggest you witness yourself like, oh, Maggie, there you are speaking unkind to yourself. The first
Yeah.
question you could ask yourself is, would I speak that way to my
Yeah.
grandchild?
Yeah. Hmm.
The answer is no. Therefore, I ought not speak that way to anybody, including myself.
Yeah.
So it's learning to catch yourself because those, like you say, it's habit. And habits, especially the unwanted habits,
Yeah.
they're automatic, they're repetitive, and they're unconscious. So you
Right.
don't have to wake up in the morning and think, I need to torture myself today about
Right.
my, It
Right.
just happens naturally.
Yeah, just defer to that.
Yes. So the habit's going to do itself. So because it's automatic and it's unconscious, the way to transform that habit is to introduce consciousness,
Hmm.
introduce awareness, just
Hmm.
introduce the light and
Yeah.
shine the light on that habit when it starts to do itself.
Hmm.
And the witness part of you who's noticing your life, so whoa, wait a second, that's not good for me.
Hmm.
Time out. I'm going to cut this conversation in my head right here
Uh-huh.
and see if you can even replace the thought with a better thought in the moment.
Hmm.
I'm learning to love this body.
Yeah.
I'm learning to accept my body.
Hmm.
I'm learning to celebrate my body because all things considered, here you are, you're relatively healthy
Yeah.
and you look great.
Thank you.
So let's start to give your body some love and some thanks
Hmm.
and some
Hmm.
gratitude and look at
Yeah.
the good things that it does give you.
Yeah. I am grateful that I am healthy and that I can move freely. I don't have any problems, mobility, or, that I can keep learning and that I can keep doing. I'm very grateful because some people at my age don't have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Maggie, I have all the confidence in the world that you can do this. Get rid of the scale, donate the clothes,
Right now. Hmm.
and choose to be the queen and say goodbye to the princess part of you that needs to have the ideal body
Hmm.
because that's not your life stage anymore.
No.
And just embrace this new life stage.
Hmm.
This is my body.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. It's so helpful to keep reminding myself that, and it's been a pleasure talking to you about it. It really has been. I appreciate you.
Maggie, and I appreciate you too. It's what a great conversation and what a great example you're going to be for your grandkids. And I know
Yeah.
that you already
Hmm.
are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.